Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Dan, Warpaint JKU. If you are looking for the best way to air down your tires, then you're definitely going to want to check out this video. Not only do you not need any special tools once these are installed, but it is super fast, super easy, super reliable. It's going to save you a bunch of time and save your back a bunch of hurt from bending down and spending a couple of minutes at each tire. So get on over, let's check it out. So today we're going to talk about the Apex valve stems. Now, I don't use these on my rig. I use a valve core removal tool, as you can see in this video right here. Now, it's not the best high quality video. I'm going to admit that to you guys because I made it early in my YouTube experience here and my editing skills weren't necessarily up to par. But it's a great video to watch and see what airing down your tire to maybe a PSI that's safe for a non-bead lock versus a bead lock and what it does to your footprint. We actually measure it out and take some comparisons and you'll see how to work a valve core removal tool, which is certainly way faster than leaving your valve core in the valve stem and just pushing on it with like a key or something to let air out of your tire. Now, these Apex valve stems are going to be really awesome for a few reasons, and I'm going to explain why. We're putting them inside of our Raceline monsters that are going in our Jeep, and the only special tools you're going to need for the initial install is a set of digital calipers and a inch-pound torque wrench, along with a 9/16 or 14 millimeter socket. Now, the way these work is basically everything below this red section is going to be on the inside of your wheel. You're not actually going to see it. On the outside of the wheel, you have your valve cap. You're going to loosen that up, remove it. You won't lose it because it does have this lanyard attaching it to the valve stem, and they do sell replacements for only a couple of bucks on the website. But it is extremely important. You're going to want to make sure you don't lose this. Now, you're then going to fill it like you would normally. It's got a valve core in there, like, you know, every other valve stem. But you would basically lift up on this red tab here, and it would expose 4 holes on the inside and let air out of your tire extremely fast. Once you're at the desired pressure, you push it back down, put your valve stem or put your valve cap back on, and the valve cap retains that red ring so that you don't lose pressure driving around on the trails. But just how fast does it let air out of your tire? Well, Apex says that they can basically reduce the amount of pressure in a 35-inch tire from about 35 PSI to 15 PSI in 15 seconds. That's pretty fast. Obviously, if you want to go farther, a little lower because you're running a bead lock, it's going to take you a little longer. And it's obviously going to take you a little longer if you have a larger tire with more air volume inside of it. But it's certainly faster than any other method that I know of. Once you basically have it installed in your wheel and you time yourself and figure it out with an air pressure gauge, you can almost not even use one anymore, because once you know that from, you know, let's say 30 PSI in your 40-inch tire, maybe it takes you 20 seconds or 22 seconds. Well, you just pull it, count to 22, close it, and you're basically good to go. Now, the other side that's going to be inside your wheel has a couple of different pieces. It's got a lock nut here, then it has this ring on it, this funny looking thing. Basically, this just allows you to use a tire pressure monitoring sensor. It's got another lock nut on the other side of that, and then a rubber seal, which we're going to use to install it and keep the pressure inside of the wheel. So let's dive on over to our Raceline and let's get this thing installed. Now, you're going to need your set of digital calipers because on the other end of your digital calipers, you can see right here, if I open them up, this little needle sticks out the end and kind of gives us that measurement here in a decimal. You basically need to go to the shortest place where your valve well, where the valve stem will sit inside of the wheel. On us, it's going to be actually closer to the outside of the rim. Now, on our wheel, it's 0.2 inches. The standard size Apex valve stem is going to deal with wheels up to 0.6 inches. If your wheel is beyond 0.6, you're going to need to go with the XL size. However, if it's only 0.1 larger than that 0.6. So if it's only 0.7, you can still get away with using the standard size. You just have to flip that rubber washer over and put it on the inside, or well, technically the outside of the wheel, the pretty part of the wheel that everyone looks at, instead of putting it on the inside like we're about to. But for our purposes, we're gonna throw it on basically the way it was shipped to us, and let's dive in and do it. Once you have it basically taken apart, you're gonna take your rubber ring. Now, the important part with this is to make sure that you understand it steps down here. We want that step facing toward the valve stem because of the measurement we have. If our wheel was at 0.7, we can actually flip it over, put it in this side now, put the valve stem in, and that would knock it down and take a tenth away, and it would basically make it that 0.6. So that is an option. But for this time, we're gonna basically put our valve stem in. We're gonna take that rubber ring with the step facing toward the valve, like I said a second ago, slide it over our valve stem, put on the first nut here. We're gonna snug it up with our 9/16 or 14 millimeter. Once that's in, we're gonna take our ring here that basically retains the tire pressure monitoring system if we want to use it. Put on our next nut that holds that on, and then we're gonna want to torque that down to between 20 and, I think it's 25 and 40 inch-pounds. So we have ours set to about 30 inch-pounds, and we'll torque it down. All right, guys, and there you have it. We have those Apex valve stems installed in our Raceline beadlock here, and again, all you got to do once that tire's on there, loosen this, pull up on that using this little red tab here, let the air out of the tire. When you're done, push it back down, put your valve cap back on to help retain that, keep that pressure inside, keep that tab down, and there you go. You're done. Pretty simple install on something that I have seen out on the trails. I've used it out on the trails, not on my own rig, but on my buddy's other rig, and they just work great. So guys, make sure you get on over, subscribe to the channel, check out the Instagram page at WarPaintJKU, and thanks for all the support.